Yeah, that trial lasted almost a month, but it took the jury less than an hour to find Essa Williams guilty on all of the charges, attempted murder and 2 aggravated assault charges from that December 2021 shooting. Phoenix police officer Tyler Moldovan was shot 8 times after responding to a 911 call near 19th Avenue and Camelback nearly 5 years ago. Essa Williams shot him in the head, and prosecutors say Williams was also planning to shoot Moldovan's partner, who was able to tackle Williams and take him into custody before that could happen. During the 4-week trial, the defense team made multiple mistrial motions and argued the shooting was self-defense, but the jury did not agree. Officer Moldovan was given little chance of living after the shooting and spent months in the hospital and rehab. Here's what he had to say during that process.
Things are not as easy as it used to be, but they're doable, you know. Just take every day as it comes and see what happens, you know.
The Phoenix Law Enforcement Association released a statement saying this verdict sends an unmistakable message. Those who deliberately attack and attempt to murder police officers must be held fully accountable. There can be no excuses or minimizing the violence that overshadows the suffering of Tyler and his family, whose lives were forever changed. And Phoenix Police also says it's grateful for the verdict, but it does not erase the impact this incident had. We have both of those full statements on our website. Meanwhile, the jury will reconvene in less than 2 weeks to set the sentencing range in the aggravation phase of this court proceeding. We'll be sure to update you whatever comes out of that. For now, reporting in studio, Zach Perlutsky for Arizona's Family.